What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today I've got another deck profile for you, and I also am going about the way I'm recording these, like the setup and stuff, a little bit differently. Hopefully this looks a little better than the last one. I think the last one was a little bit further away, so the camera had trouble focusing. But I think closer up like this, it looks really nice. You can really see the artwork pretty well. Not much glare or anything like that. I think this will work. But yeah, today we're looking at BLACKWING. This is a very cool deck. This is a deck I've been a fan of for a long time. Even before I knew how to even play Yu-Gi-Oh competitively, I always had an inclination towards cool bird type cards. So the BLACKWINGs definitely appealed to me a lot. I think Crow is a very cool character, and so this is my take on BLACKWINGs. Keep in mind, guys, I am not playing a version, just a heads up, that plays the Apex Avian Thunderbird combo, or Mist Valley Apex Avian, or Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. None of those just lock cards, nothing like that. We still like to set up boards, but I just feel like those are like kind of cheap, and if it's not in their own archetype, it kind of just feels lame when you play win conditions like that, like in a deck that can just generically abuse it. So in my opinion, I'm just trying to keep it a little more pure and a little more wholesome here. But obviously it's not probably going to be as competitive as those versions, but it may actually be a little more consistent because you're not having to play those bricks like Apex Avian, Thunderbird, like, you know what I mean, all those cards that otherwise would be bricks. You get to play a couple more consistency cards. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the list here. We'll start with our main deck monsters. The best card in the deck is Simoom the Poison Wind. He is incredibly good. Without even using your normal summon, he can get you like a body on board, a card that's going to search, like a body on board, a search, and like soon to be another extra body on board. Like he's literally like a +3. He's insane. So I want to open in as much as possible. I know he locks you into darks, but that's what this version is kind of help compensating. Like the extra deck is like almost entirely dark. I think there might be like 2 cards in the extra deck that aren't dark. So yeah, we're pretty well set up for it. And then also, he just can't be hand trapped. He can't be Ash because he just places from deck. He's not on. He activates in hand, so he can't be impermanence, Veilered, Ogred, any of that stuff. And yeah, he's just insane. So Simoom, definitely got to play him at 3 if you're playing this kind of version. Then we play a ton of the extender ones. So 3, Chris the Crack of Dawn. 3, Bora the Spear. 3, Gale the Whirlwind. And then we play 2, Harmattan the Dust. 2, Orochi the Squall, and then this is supposed to be Gust the Backblast. So real quick, I'll go over Gust because this is a proxy. I just didn't have it, and I didn't want to wait to get it just yet because it was just going to be a week or whatever. He just says if you control no cards whatsoever, you can just special summon this card from your hand, and if your opponent's monster attacks a BLACKWING monster you control, the attacking monster loses 300 attack during the damage step only. I get it. He doesn't really work with Simoom that well, but pretty much every other hand he's really nice, especially going second, because if your opponent can disrupt your normal summon before you get a chance to drop any other BLACKWINGs from your hand, you just kind of lose, because all of these pretty much have the same clause. All the other ones say just, if you control BLACKWING, you can just special them from hand. Which is really nice, but if your opponent stops your normal summon and removes it, you just kind of like pass because you can't put anything else on the board. So that's why he's really nice. You could just get him out first. That even if they can disrupt the normal summon, he'd still be there to allow you to extend with the rest of your BLACKWINGs in hand, which is really good. So, and then all of them, like I said, they all do that. These 2, Bora and Gale, are the only 2 that aren't once per turn, so they can just go plop, 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 plop. You can just special summon them from hand as however much you want, and they all have additional effects. Orochi doesn't even matter. He changes like a battle position. Harmattan says when you special summon, you can target another BLACKWING and he will gain the level of that BLACKWING. Very good for making specific synchros whenever you want. Gale can target a monster your opponent controls once per turn, soft once per turn. So if you had like 3 Gale, you could do it 3 times. And just cut its attack and defense in half permanently. Very good. Bora deals piercing damage. Very good with Gale in tandem. And then Chris, the Crack of Dawn, can once per turn just not be destroyed by a spell or trap card or effect. So that's pretty cool. Also, Chris is my favorite one. Look at him. He's so badass. That is my favorite boy right there. Hell to the yeah. Alright, so that's it for like the extender BLACKWINGs. For the normal summons, we've got 3, Auster the South Wind, 1, Blizzard the Far North, and 1, Zephyros the Elite. Zephyros is mainly just an extender piece as part of the combo, but if you draw him, he can just be a decent monster to use as your normal summon. Blizzard and Auster kind of work very similarly. Neither of them can be special summoned, and then when they're normal summoned, Blizzard can special summon a level 4 lower Blackwing from grave in defense mode, and Auster does the same thing but for one that's banished. Also, Auster can be banished from grave to put a black feather counter on every monster your opponent has that does not have one already. You'll see how that matters when we get to the extra deck, but yeah, they're pretty good, and also Auster has good synergy with some other cards we play. The last monster we play is 3 Ash. Nothing too much to say here. This is just the deck really can struggle going second, so you're really not trying to have to play through much. So hopefully Ash and Impermanence that you'll see later on can help, stigma or what is it? Stymie? What's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know what word I'm looking for. Just stun your opponent a little bit on their first turn so that they can't set up like 4 negations for you, because you definitely cannot play through that. Right there. And then for the spells. So for the spells, we play 3 Black Whirlwind. Pretty self-explanatory. This card's insane. You want to see this in every single hand. It's so good. If I could see 3 in every hand, as long as I'm guaranteed to see like a Chris or a Bora or something, one of the higher attack stat normal summons, this card's insane. All of them, they can not once per turn. They can all activate in the same turn. You can control more than one. It's just insane. This card is so wild. You have to play it at 3. For the draw power, 3 Allure and 1 Upstart Goblin. Not too much to say here. I decided not to play Desires just because Zephyros is part of every one of your combos. You have hands where you need to go through Blizzard, and so because of that, I just didn't want to risk hitting those off of Desires. Though I would still consider it if that wasn't that as big a part of the deck. But the whole deck is dark, and if you banish a Blackwing, if you have Auster can also just get it back. Which is really awesome. And then Upstart is Upstart, just a small little consistency buff if we can have it. I'm into it. I've been playing it a lot more lately, actually. Been coming around to Upstart. 3 Called by the Grave, it's just super versatile. You don't want to be hand trapped going first and or going second, really, but also just it can be used as a disruption to just mess with your opponent's graveyard, because the graveyard is just so important right now. Literally, looking at the 5 best decks from last format, and now after 2 of them are hit on the ban list, the 3 best decks left are all super graveyard reliant. Not super, but everything has something good you can hit with Called by the Grave. So I'm a big fan of the card. 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force. These are the last one-ups we play for the spells. Monster Reborn is really cool just because it can help you play through something like a Judgment or something like that if they just destroy your normal summon, or it can just be an extender to make your play that much bigger. So it's really good. And then Soul Shave Force, you got to play it. If you don't know what it does, you just pay half your life points. Target a Raid Raptor Exceed Engrave, reborn it, and then you get to rank up a 2 rank higher monster on top of it. But it doesn't have to be Raid Raptor, so it's kind of generic, which is pretty busted. And it's searchable, super searchable. And the last card is just 3 Impermanence. Really good, just another hand trap to pair with Ash so that going second we have a chance at least to slow our opponent down. But that's it for the main deck. 40 cards as per usual. I don't really like to mess around with that. I'm really trying to focus on consistency with these decks because I play a lot of rogue decks, and so I'm not trying to hurt the fact that my deck's already not considered as good as a deck as other decks, and so I'm not trying to hurt that, but even messing around and watering down the consistency of the deck on top of that. All right. Getting into the extra deck, starting with the links, we've got 2 Raid Raptor Y-Strix. This card is incredible. Special summons a level 4 Dark Wing Beast on summon, and then if you activate a Raid Raptor XC's monster effect, you can just set your rank up magic Soul Shave Force directly from the deck, which is really awesome. So it's a +2. It's incredible. It's incredible. Card's so good. This is IP Masquerena. It's just expensive, and I could borrow Chris's for the deck profile, but social distancing, you guys understand. But I don't have one right now, but I would play IP Masquerena. I think it's pretty necessary in this deck. For the link 3s, 1 Berserker of Lieutenant and 1 Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn's pretty self-explanatory. We're playing IP, but also mid to late game, you can just make this as a deal with a problem card. Berserker's a little bit strange, so people might be confused as to why we play Berserker, but he comes up, you'd see it. If you saw some of the board states you end up in doing the combos, you really just want to get the Y-Strix and the the Raid Raptor Exceed off the field so that you can use the Soul Shave Force to reborn the Exceed. And instead of just making like a bad one, at least you can just make like a 3k beater. That way, just from that situation, just having like a useless Y-Strix, a useless Force Strix, and the Soul Shave Force, you can go into a 3k beater and an Infinity, a Cyber Dragon Infinity. So you actually get something out of nothing. So it really does help. It's just like a weird like transitional piece. It's pretty cool. The only link forward play is one Unchained Abomination. I really like to make him off of IP so that he can't be destroyed by card effects, but what he does is if you already end with like multiple disruptions on your board, but if you also end him, he just like dares your opponent. He says like, you have to break through not just my disruptions, but also clear him off the field, and if you don't, I'm going to be popping your cards, and I am absolutely going to punish you for not breaking through the board all the way. And so I really, really like that. And if you make him an indestructible like card effects, he can actually be a real pain to out because he's also a 3k beater. Very good card, though. For the synchros, we have one Nothing the Starlight. This is a Boral Savage Dragon. This is our Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, and then one Blackwing Full Armor Master. Not too much to say here. Like, these are your disruption. Like, he's a better disruption than him, but he's also like more offensive. So sometimes I want to get offensive and then still have a disruption. So he's a little better for that. But Boral Savage is very good. You can definitely end both in certain combos. Nothing gives you an additional normal summons. If you have Black Whirlwind, you want to do an additional normal summon, you're just going to get crazy pluses. And then he's just a tower. He's unaffected by all card effects. But also don't sleep on him because Auster, which I said earlier, it puts the feather counters on stuff. He can once per turn just target a monster your opponent controls with a feather counter and just steal it. Steal it permanently. Take their monster for good. It's really, really a wild effect. So, really big fan of that. But pretty much if you can keep your opponent off Boral Sword, a lot of times they just can't out him because he's unaffected by all card effects. Then we move into the Exceed monsters, the last part of the profile. We've got one Raid Raptor 4 Strix, searches any dark, Winged Beast level 4, very good part of the combo. One Evil Swarm Nightmare, very good piece of interruption, just takes 2 dark monsters level 4, and then you can up to twice per turn when a monster is special summon, just flip it face down. Very, very good, especially now that we're coming into Master 5. We're going to see a lot of decks that aren't going through links as much as far as like making crucial plays, so he's going to be much, much, much more viable there. One Time Thief Redoer. So Redoer is just another dark attribute, rank 4, that if like I know he's not like particularly good in the matchup, I can just go Redoer instead and at least play like a kind of control-y style with Redoer just because he tags out. Hopefully he if you rip a trap, it's insane because he becomes like a really good disruption. But if you rip spells, like you're just getting free draws, which is also really good. And he tags out, so it's just annoying for your opponent to deal with. 2400 beater, pretty good. And we have one Cyber Dragon Infinity. If you have not gone through Sea Moon and you're not locked into darks, you're going to drop this on top of your Raid Raptor 4 Strix every single time with the Soul Shave Force. But if they do, or if you have gone through Sea Moon, you're going to into this guy. There's another proxy, I just don't have him yet. He's not that expensive, I just didn't have him. His name is Dragulus the Vampiric Dragon. He's number 24 as a numbered monster. He's very, very cool. Let me read you what he says. So he's 2400 attack, 2800 defense. He's a worm, he's dark, he's cool. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can just detach a material from this card, target a face-up monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck, and change it to face-down defense position. If this face-up card in its owner's control is sent to the graveyard or banished by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card in face-down defense position. And the last effect, if this card is flipped face-up, send one card on the field to the graveyard. So a lot going on there. Like, he's pretty much like a Book of Moon for an extra deck monster. Obviously, if your opponent knows about him and they're going to be forced to go into links, but that can play into some of your other disruptions, and then like you kind of floodgated him there in that respect. And if they out him by banishing him or sending to the graveyard, he comes back set, and if they don't like remove him again, he's going to just flip on your next turn and just send a card on the field to the graveyard. Super crazy, super wild. Like I think he's like so good. Even if your opponent can work around his disruption effect and they out him, like he just comes back and like punishes them. That's why he's like a vampire dragon, because he's undead. He always comes back. Like he's crazy. So that's pretty much it for the deck profile, guys. I've been doing a ton of test hands, and they've really been working out. I have a couple test hands here or there where like I'm bricking on like Called by the Graves and hand traps, but I think they end up doing more good than bad. So I think it's still probably worth. And even in those hands, you kind of just like stall for like a turn or two with like the Called by the Graves, the Impermanence, the Ashes and stuff, and then on the next turn you try and pop off. So it's not even like entirely like the worst situation. You just have to play the game a little slower with those hands. So, but the deck is really cool. I like this version the most. Again, I don't like just setting up locks unless it's like actually what the archetype is designed to do. And that's not really what Blackwings are about. They're about being a little more offensive. So that's kind of what I tried to do with this list. But guys, let me know your thoughts down below. I have not played Blackwings in a minute, so obviously I'm kind of a little bit new getting back into Blackwing. So let me know your thoughts down below on the list. If you have any suggestions of other stuff I might want to take interest in playing, looking at, anything like that. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet and you want to see more deck profiles from your boy, because I got them churning, I got them working. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.